The academically and morally excellent Xiaoni always studies late into the night, but his neighbor is the noisy athlete Woody. Due to his mother's early application, Xiaoni received an interview notice from Yale University. While Woody is the star of the school football team, if he performs well in the upcoming game, he could secure a college recommendation through scouts. However, as neighbors, Xiaoni and Woody can't stand each other. Woody even deliberately drove over a puddle with his friends, splashing Xiaoni, who was walking alone by the roadside. With his hair in a mess, Xiaoni arrived at school only to be mocked by Woody and his girlfriend Anna. In anger, Xiaoni retaliated with sarcastic remarks. To get back at Xiaoni's sarcasm, Woody deliberately logged onto an adult website using Xiaoni's computer during history class, causing Xiaoni to be embarrassed in front of all the classmates. During the subsequent field trip, the two happened to be grouped together again and started mocking each other in front of the statue of the god of witchcraft in the museum. However, they were unaware that they had offended the god of witchcraft, who took the opportunity to cast a body-swapping spell on them while they weren't paying attention. When Woody and Little Nee woke up the next day, they immediately noticed something physically unusual, and were terrified and at a loss. Although they realized they had swapped bodies in their dreams, they didn't have time to talk, as they were hurried by their respective parents to go have breakfast. The completely different dietary structure made both Little Nye and Woody feel nauseous. Watching Little Nye leave with a friend's carpool, Woody tasted loneliness for the first time. When they met at school, the two began to discuss ways to switch back, and Little Nee in a panic started to cry. Seeing this, Woody hurriedly comforted Little Nee, suggesting that this strange encounter might only last for a day. Hearing this, Little Nye went to class in Woody's body, but Woody, in Little Nye's body, answered the teacher's questions with average responses. Feeling embarrassed, Little Nye scolded Woody. However, as lunchtime arrived, he had to deal with the entanglement of Woody's girlfriend. Although he managed to shake off the busty and brainless Anna, he soon faced football practice. Inexperienced, he was harshly reprimanded by the coach for his poor performance. Since they still hadn't switched back to their original bodies the next morning, Little Nee and Woody had no choice but to continue attending school in each other's bodies. The conservative Little Nee, ignoring Woody's objections, dressed him up like a bookworm. In retaliation for Little Nee's arrogant attitude, Woody deliberately wore revealing clothes and heavy makeup to school. Then, he further ruined Little Nee's image as a refined lady in the eyes of their classmates by eating in a vulgar manner. In addition, Woody took advantage of Little Nye's body to sneak into the women's bathhouse, enjoying the perks of the body swap. Little Nye, unable to tolerate it any longer, not only made Woody perform like a fool, but also deliberately broke up with Woody's girlfriend, Anna. Upon learning of this, Woody immediately decided to ruin Little Nee's virginity. And as soon as Woody sat on their classmate Nikki's motorcycle, the frightened Little Nee was also stunned on the spot and hurried back home, worrying in secret. Woody's mother came to check on her son's situation, because previously, Woody's father had said that if Woody didn't make the team, he would have to work at the hardware store. Woody's mother believed that her son didn't want to take over the hardware store, so she comforted him assertively to put his mind at ease. Although Little Nee was not accustomed to such coarse language, he still had a good impression of Woody's mother. Meanwhile, Woody, who went to the RV with Nikki, could only keep making perfunctory responses and took the opportunity to escape back home under the pretense of going to the bathroom. The next day, believing he had lost his innocence, Little Nee hid in the stairwell and cried uncontrollably, leaving the passing art teacher at a loss. His dejected appearance and views on virginity prompted Woody, who was passing by, to reveal the truth. However, Woody soon learned that since he didn't succeed, Nikki intended to completely ruin Little Nye's reputation with vulgar messages. Enraged, Woody immediately stormed into the basketball gym, ready to give Nikki a harsh lesson. But the girl's frail body was no match for Nikki. Fortunately, Little Nee mustered the courage to rush over and used Woody's strength to knock Nikki down, finally revealing the truth. After school, while chatting in the basketball gym, the two recalled their previous argument and thought of the statue of the god of witchcraft in the art gallery. So they hurried to the art gallery to confess their mistakes to the god of witchcraft. However, their feigned friendship did not convince the god of witchcraft, and Little Nee, who couldn't successfully switch back, fell into depression once again. But Woody noticed that Nikki, who got beaten up, was very afraid of Little Nye. Inspired by this, he hoped Little Nye would train with him and regain his advantage in football. Since Little Nye clearly had no athletic talent, their training on the field attracted everyone's attention. Afraid of embarrassment, Woody could only take Little Nee to train by the river. In preparation for the Yale University interview, Little Nee shared Shakespeare's poetry late at night, and through Little Nee's narration, Woody gained a deeper understanding of the poet. That night, when Little Nee went downstairs to get some water, he encountered Woody's father. It was then that Little Nee learned that Woody's father and his own father used to be friends. However, due to his mother's intervention, his father broke off with his former friend. The next day at school, Woody encountered Chanel crying at the school gate. He couldn't help but approach her to offer comfort and learned about his friend Harry's infidelity. Through Chanel's words, he not only heard the girl's true opinions about boys, but also understood that these girls were dating just to get attention. Due to his timely concern, Chanel introduced him to Anna's pajama party, and it was only then that Woody found out. In Anna's eyes, he was just a video to ensure attention. Meanwhile, Xiaoni joined Harry's fiery journey. She intended to accuse Harry of his unfaithful behavior towards Chanel, but was mocked by Harry. Then, she was dragged by Harry to the party to drink heavily and experience the joy brought by alcohol for the first time. Meanwhile, Woody, who attended the girls' party, was targeted by Anna as her new goal. With everyone's support, Xiaoni's dense forest was removed. After learning that Xiaoni was hungover, Woody, despite his lower body pain, still took on the responsibility of taking care of Xiaoni, and Woody's thoughtfulness deeply moved Xiaoni. As the competition approached, Xiaoni finally adjusted her attitude and began to seriously learn rugby techniques from Woody. However, during training, Woody noticed a physical reaction, leading him to conclude that Xiaoni had developed feelings for him. Sure enough, worried about the interview, Xiaoni ran over in the middle of the night. While advising Woody on his interview attire, Xiaoni also accepted his invitation to attend the graduation dance together. However, during dinner, Woody heard from Xiaoni's mother about Xiaoni's previous opinions of him. This made him storm out into the rain to practice football in anger. After greeting her father, Xiaoni found Woody, who was venting his anger. Thinking that the next day would be a crucial moment deciding their fates, the two young people ended up having a big argument in the rain. Yet after parting in anger, they found themselves thinking about each other in the quiet of the night. The next day, Woody followed Xiaoni's advice and went to Yale for the interview. However, under the professional questioning of the interviewer, he quickly forgot the content he had prepared due to nervousness. Seeing the disappointed look on the interviewer's face, Woody hurriedly expressed his views on hip-hop music and did his best to complete Xiaoni's interview. Meanwhile, Xiaoni started the first basketball game of his life. Due to stage fright, his initial performance was not satisfactory. Until Woody arrived. It was only then, under Woody's encouraging gaze, that he recalled the training techniques from before. So, in the subsequent game, he gave it his all and ultimately helped the school team win the match. Xiaoni's performance genuinely moved Woody, who immediately rushed onto the court to join Xiaoni, who was being surrounded by his teammates. Upon learning that Xiaoni had already received a scout's business card for himself, Woody, who was initially uncertain, felt very apologetic. But in Xiaoni's eyes, both of them believed they had given their all in their respective lives. After a sincere conversation, their reconciliatory words were affirmed by the god of magic, and they instantly switched back to their original bodies. However, what Xiaoni didn't expect was that Woody, who was dragged away by his teammates, ended up receiving a passionate kiss from Anna, which led her to lock herself at home and refuse to attend the dance with Woody. Although Woody's efforts ultimately helped Xiaoni pass the Yale interview, he still chose to stay at home. On the other hand, Woody, who was dancing with Anna, was absent-minded. Even though he received the king's crown, his thoughts were constantly on Xiaoni. At this moment, Xiaoni's father noticed his daughter's conflict and struggle, so he brought out the dress and shoes he had bought in advance to encourage her. With her father's support, Xiaoni bravely pursued her happiness. After the coronation ceremony, Xiaoni appeared in full dress, immediately catching Woody's attention, who then made his way through the crowd to stand before her, and recited a Shakespeare poem. Although he couldn't remember the entire text, he still moved Xiaoni with his sincere words. Faced with the furious Anna, Woody directly took Xiaoni and left the ball. Anna, who was shouting angrily at the scene, was retaliated against by her classmates and had to leave in humiliation, after being publicly disgraced. Ultimately, under the power of love, Xiaoni decided to take a year off from school to accompany Woody, and the two fathers also rekindled their old friendship because of their children's love. Although her mother strongly opposed Xiaoni's decision to take a break from school, Xiaoni bravely left home and walked towards happiness with her lover. Alright, that's the end of today's commentary. If you like my video, please don't forget to like and comment. See you tomorrow.